Okay, so let us continue some beautiful nectar of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Om Agyanatimirandasya Ganam Janam Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Chaitanya Charitamrita is, I think, one of the greatest gifts of Srila Prabhupada. That's where Prabhupada gave us, we could say, everything. Maybe he didn't develop so much that everything, but he gave it. It's there. And then as we read it again and again, we discover that everything is there. And by the power of mercy, everything is revealed, by chanting purely. So I jumped over some few verses because they were explaining how the time for the avatar came, and then Krishna desired to appear also, and then these two reasons mixed because the Yuga avatar is not the main purpose of Krishna's descent. But this is more common tattva that most devotees already know. And because the Chaitanya Charitamrita is very big and wide and long, I will follow a particular flow to just pick up some special jewels. Like if we were diving in the ocean, there are many beautiful things, but in order to highlight some special things from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, then I will take only these for this approach. Otherwise, they may become lost in the multitude of other things also that are there. There are always some primary things and secondary things. And secondary things are also important, but sometimes it's also good to just highlight the primary things, because that's what we have to keep primary in our life. Then Krishna comes to the point, that's Krishna reflecting. Kaviraj Goswami is writing Krishna's meditation, why he has to come. And Krishna says, Aishvarya Genite Sabha Jagat Mishrita, Aishvarya Shitila Preme Nahi Mora Priti. Lord Krishna thought, all the universe is filled with the conception of my majesty. Which would be nice if all the universe would be filled with the conception of His majesty, but love weakened by that sense of majesty doesn't satisfy me. So that's the worship of Aishwarya Bhav, when we understand how Krishna is all-powerful. And the first step in God's realization, which is good. And we all went through that. We all start to connect with that, and that's a very good thing. That's also a merciful aspect of Krishna, because it helps us to understand Him. But then here, Chaitanya Charitamrita is for Krishna to reveal His heart. I often say the Bhagavad Gita is like the primary approach of Krishna. To have some primary conception, then gradually we start to understand that God is a person. But we don't have much information about that person. It's like you see someone showing coming from afar. You see, oh, that's a person, but you don't see much about it. And then Srimad Bhagavatam is Krishna's form, because it's, first canto to 12th canto is the full body of Krishna, starting with Krishna's soul. So Srimad Bhagavatam is to reveal the personality of Krishna, of his beauty, of his pastime, of his name. So really a study of the personality of Krishna and his exchanges with the devotees, that Krishna's form. 10th canto is his face. And then within the 10th canto, the 5 chapters of Rasa Lila, they are the 5 life heirs of Krishna. Yeah. And the central one is the soul of Krishna, which is Gopi Gita. Why Gopi Gita is the soul of Krishna? Because in the Gopi Gita, very beautiful feelings of separation appear. And in these 5 chapters, we should go through them also at some point. Krishna starts to reveal his heart. When he says, Na padayeham niravadya samjutam, that's Krishna revealing his heart. And in this discussion with the gopis in the dead of night in Vrindavan, Krishna reveals his heart. That's the deepest aspect of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the gopis, they also reveal their heart. And there are some other instances also in which go very deep also in Bhagavatam chapter 47, when Uddhava comes back to Vrindavan, and also the gopis' feelings of separation from Krishna, and also in the next canto when Krishna explains to Uddhava the feelings of the gopis. This is the essence of the Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam has a treasure, and this is the treasure of the Bhagavatam, which is the beginning of Krishna's opening his heart. And then Chaitanya Charitamrita is the study of Krishna's heart. It's now we will enter into the heart of Krishna, because it starts with this, Krishna's heart. Chaitanya Charitamrita. What is inside Krishna's heart? Radha. That's why Chaitanya Charitamrita is, Prabhupada made it golden. And it speaks about Radha and starts with the desire of Krishna to understand Radha, and how Radha and Krishna, they are also one at heart. So from the beginning, from these very first verses, Anarpita charim chirat, karunavatirya kalo, samarpayitum unato jvala rasam swabhakti shriyam. Krishna is going now to reveal his own treasure. So we understand Chaitanya Charitamrita will speak about Krishna's heart. Ekat manavapi bhuvipura dehabedam bat gatoto. He will explain us how Radha and Krishna, they are one at heart. And Shridhara pranayama kidrisham banaya eva, how Krishna wants to understand Radha and his love. This is Krishna's heart. So that's Chaitanya Charitamrita. And now and it starts because Kaviraj Goswami, which is what I love in Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he is going right from the beginning to the very beautiful topic of Krishna's heart. Then he will also describe so many other pastimes that were there in the life of Mahaprabhu that may explain some other topics also. But he is always coming back to the essence, and Chaitanya Charitamrita is really about the topmost essence of what we can find. And it's very important to take at heart the Chaitanya Charitamrita and study it. We will find all the jewels of Radha and Krishna's heart inside the Chaitanya Charitamrita. So let's continue that study of Krishna's heart. Now Krishna is starting It's still the beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna starting to say the love weakened by this feeling of awe and reverence, majesty, doesn't bring him real satisfaction. Something, but here he says, doesn't satisfy me. Because this is partial love. But then Krishna says that he is more attracted by a special kind of attraction. Where he says this. Yeah, he says that in verse 21, 22, he says, if one cherishes pure love, pure loving devotion to me, thinking of me as his son, his friend, or his beloved, regarding himself as great and considering me his equal or inferior, then I become subordinate. Krishna becomes interested. Krishna likes to be small. And once I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, yes. You know, when we were kids, we were so weak, because the kid is so weak, doesn't know anything, has no strength, very lost in this world. We were always thinking about being superhero, to be so powerful, you know, and we're playing this, imagining this in our mind, you know. But Krishna is already a superhero. He has all power. So for him, that's not a game. That's there. What Krishna likes to play is to be without any power. That's his reversed play. And he enjoys that. Because that's what he doesn't have in one sense. Or he has it in his original form. That's what he prefers to do. Well, we have to understand this aspect, first aspect of Krishna. Krishna, real aspect of Krishna, the original aspect of Krishna is that when he feels himself subordinate, Krishna doesn't want to be better than others. He likes to be lower than others. That's what he says here. You know? If someone considers himself as great, and myself as his equal or inferior, then I become subordinate. That brings happiness to Krishna. It's very beautiful. Yep. And Prabhupada explained this very philosophically, nicely. Then he quotes a verse from the meeting at Kurukshetra. So now we dive into the heart of Krishna. It's beautiful, you know. Once Shiva Maharaj said, the journey of life should be the journey aiming at reaching the heart of God. That's the best journey you can do in your life, the best goal. We're not worshippers of God. We're worshippers of of the heart of God. We're not satisfied by meeting God. We want to understand His heart. And not only understand, we want to feel His heart. Everything that Krishna feels, we want to be able to feel that also. It's complete craziness in one sense. Ordinary religious people would say that we are a little bit presumptuous. There is, in Christianity, there is this, they call this the sin of presumption. Is it correctly said? It's too presumptuous to think that you can understand God like this, or you can be as pure as Jesus. Of course, we don't think ourselves as pure as Jesus, but Krishna says that's what He likes, And Krishna is willing to share His heart. That's His nature. That's His Audaya nature. And that Audaya nature is there. It's not only there in Mahaprabhu, it's there in Krishna. It's there in Radha. Then they express it in their combined form as Mahaprabhu, but Krishna wants to share His heart. And He needs some people who are willing to hear His heart. Because you may be willing to share your heart, but you need some good friends. And when you want to share your heart in this world, you will find out that's not that easy to find someone who wants to hear it, who wants to really hear your heart. Only very special friends. So Krishna needs some special friends that are willing to hear His heart. And if we are fortunate as a conditioned soul, we will also understand that this is the goal of life. This is the greatest thing that I can attain. I want me to understand your heart. And if we develop that desire that I want to understand Krishna's heart, I'm ready to understand your heart. You can tell me anything, I'm ready. Then just by this feeling appearing in our heart, we immediately become specially dear to Krishna. Even though we may not be completely pure yet, but that desire already is interesting Krishna very much, because nobody cares about his heart. Normally people care about other things, but if you start to care about really Krishna's heart, really what's going on, that's sincere appreciation of a person. Means you want to understand really that person and not utilize that person. We should not utilize Krishna for us. We want to help Krishna. That's real love. Love means accepting someone else's suffering as yours. That's real love. Then you can say you love someone when you accept the suffering of this person. You're not exploiting that person. You're just willing to take the suffering of that person on you. That's love. That's how we have to approach Krishna. Very beautiful approach. And then if we do this, Krishna will think, wow, this person is my real friend. I'll make him progress quickly so that I can share my heart with him. Because nobody is making this prayer. People want to be near Krishna. They want to attain the planet of Krishna. They want to have the opulence of Krishna. They want to have a form like Krishna. But very rare to find some soul that wants to understand the heart of Krishna. And that is ready to take Krishna's suffering upon him. Yeah, because Krishna is God, so his feelings are intense. Will we be able to bear that? It's like saying, yes, I'm willing that the thunder falls on me. I'll carry that, I sacrifice myself. Let the thunder fall on me. Krishna's heart is unlimitedly more powerful than the thunder. So thunder, if the thunder falls on us, we are like turned into ashes in a second. Like this, poof, our existence, our material body is finished. So what will happen if we want to understand Krishna's heart? Many people, they don't want because of this, because they think, oh, I don't know what will happen. And that might be a little bit too much, Or some people are thinking, no, that's too presumptuous, we should not. But that's what Krishna is saying. So Krishna reveals his heart in Vraj. In Vraj, Krishna follows only his heart. That's Vraj is the pure expression of Krishna's heart. And Prabhupada writes in the purport, that's in the verse 23, so meeting the gopis at the Kurukshetra, Krishna tells them, devotional service rendered to me by the living beings revives their eternal life. That we understand. By serving Krishna, our eternal identity is revived. But, oh my dear damsels of Raj, your affection for me is your good fortune, for it is the only means by which you have obtained my favor, not by service rendered to Krishna, not by following some particular process, just because they have some special affection for Krishna. They have obtained a special favor from him. Why? Because they care about him, they care about his heart, and they are ready to take all the burdens of Krishna upon them, all his sufferings. Prabhupada writes, pure devotional service is represented in the activities of the residents of Vraj, Vrindavan. During a solar eclipse, the Lord came from Dwaraka and met the inhabitants of Vrindavan at Samantapanchaka. Very sad place. The meeting was intensely painful for the damsels of Rajabhumi because Lord Krishna had apparently left them to reside at Dwaraka. But the Lord obligingly acknowledged the pure devotional service of the damsel of Raj by speaking this verse. So this meeting is a meeting of intense bliss and suffering mixed together. It's blissful because after so long they see Krishna again, but they're suffering also. Krishna has been suffering for all this time. They have been suffering for all this time. There has been so much suffering. The Acharyas, they explain that when the gopi, they reach Kurukshetra, their clothes are completely
soaked.
Not only soaked, they are torn apart for falling down on the ground always. Their body are to become, like dusty. Their lips are cracked. The lips of the gopi, they were cracked because of too much vipralamba, too much separation from Krishna. They were living in a very intense situation. They became very skinny. Still, Shiva Maharaj says they became very skinny, but they maintained their beauty. Because in this world, if someone becomes very skinny, like anorexia, that person loses his beauty or her beauty. Because the feeling that is behind such thing is not pure feeling. It's not based on love. It's not based on pure love for Krishna, but their skinniness is based on their pure love for Krishna. So actually it really makes them more beautiful, but in a special darshan. That I think we need a special grace to have a darshan of this in order to understand how is their form when they reach Kurukshetra. And Krishna says, the yatamam prapadyante tam tateva bhajamyaham. That means if they feel this, if they are in such a state, Krishna is also in such a state. I mean, maybe being a king, he is maybe still dressed as a king because he has some people taking care of him, and he has to play that role also. But his heart is also completely shattered, cut into pieces, or even turned into dust, crushed. Krishna is living with this kind of emptiness. Actually, Govinda Maharaj used to explain this pastime when Krishna is on the terrace in Mathura and he's stepping back and forth in the night on the terrace. Moon is there, very pleasant atmosphere. Mathura is just few miles from Raj. Very similar. And Uddhava comes and he feels something is wrong because Uddhava has some access to Krishna's heart. Not full access, but he cares about Krishna's heart very much. So Uddhava approaches Krishna and says, "What is wrong? I can feel something is wrong." This is a beautiful scenery, We have to meditate upon this, thinking this is the night, Mathura is sleeping, the city became somehow silent. How much a city can become completely silent, I don't know. But Mathura is a country city still. There are birds and peacocks and parrots and swans and fragrances from same flowers like in Vraj, same trees. So it's very similar, peaceful. And it's night, moonlight is there. Very pathetic setting. The dark night with the moonlight is such beautiful, but can be also painful. So Krishna is there in the darkness, in the moonshine, and he's alone, stepping back and forth, and Uddhava comes and he sees Krishna in that beautiful scenery. How beautiful, we say, heart-moving at the same time. Because Krishna's heart is on the level of prema, where Radha and Krishna and the Gopi, they live. There is a state which is called Yavad Ashraya Vritti, which means that their love is of such an intensity that it spreads around them. And whoever comes in contact with them is also affected by this love. So Uddhava, when he comes, and he becomes affected by that love. That love cannot be contained in the heart of Krishna. If someone is a proper recipient, then he will become affected by that love. Yavad Ashraya Vritti. And Krishna sits and then he takes Uddhava's hand. Govinda Maharaj would explain this beautiful class, he takes Uddhava's hand and he says, "Oh, Uddhava, actually I have to explain, to reveal my heart to you. But please open your heart and try to understand." So now Uddhava finds himself, his hand between the lotus hands of Krishna, such a beautiful situation. And he sees Krishna has some sadness in him. And Krishna told him, "Actually, I am here in Mathura, but I am not here. Only my shell is here. It's like what you see in front of you is just an empty body. There is no soul inside. My soul stayed in Vraj. Only my body came here. So I am living here in Mathura as an empty body." That's Krishna saying this. This destroys all the philosophy of the Bhagavatam. that Krishna's body and soul is non-different. But Krishna says it because Krishna is Mugdata. There is two aspects in Krishna. Krishna is Sarvagya and Mugdata. Vijayanath Chakravarti Thakur explains in Ragavartma Chandrika this very beautiful tattva. Okay, Krishna understands everything, but at the same time, he has also another aspect which is called Mugdata, which is that Krishna forgets everything else and he becomes only absorbed in prema. And he forgets everything, he becomes forgetful. This is called Mugdata. He doesn't know that anymore even that he is Krishna. He doesn't know. He's just Shyam. And he's controlled by this prem. That's Raja Prem. Chaitanya Charitamrita is bringing us to that understanding of Krishna, that Krishna is not the supreme controller. Because Krishna gave supreme control to Prem. That's Raj. Prem is the king, supreme controller, and Krishna is under the control of Prem. That's the most beautiful control that can be. Of course, Prem is an expansion of his heart. But this is how Krishna likes it the best. And he says, no, I am empty. Who you see in front of you, whom you have ever seen, who is your dear friend, actually is no one. You have befriended a living corpse, empty shell. Actually, I'm not here. You see me in front of you, I'm speaking to you, but actually, I'm not there, I'm not here, I'm somewhere else. And Uddhava becomes completely lost. That's too much for Uddhava. This is a reality that Uddhava doesn't have real access to. Something, he can have some glimpses of it. He can feel. It's amazing, this feeling of Krishna, but thinking, wow. And Krishna knows. In order to bless Uddhava, Krishna will send Uddhava to Vraj. You go see by yourself where I am. You will find me there. You will find that actually I reside there, where in the heart of Radha. That's where I am. You have to go and see also. So, that's the mood of Krishna in Vraj and in Dwarka and in Mathura. Krishna is, when he is in Dwarka, same mood. He says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, when we'll see chapter 13, when he's dancing in front of Jagannath. You know, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu absorbing himself in the feeling of Radha, and he starts to accuse Krishna. Why have you gone? What kind of person are you? You know, you want to kill all the inhabitants of Raj? You want to kill your father? You want to kill your mother? That's what you want to do? She's becoming very heavy. That's Kurukshetra. Very heavy. Krishna likes that. Because he says, when my beloved, they chastise me, then that's the real thing, you know.
Steals my mind from the reverent hymns of the Vedas.
Yes. That's where the real love starts to be enacted and to be experienced, that Vraj Leela. And she says this. And then Jagannath answers back to Mahaprabhu and he says, hey, what do you think? You think I'm happy there in Dwarka? You think while all you there are suffering, I am enjoying? Well, let me tell you one thing. That same suffering that you experience, I also experience. Plus, there is one difference. At least you are many of you. And you are many of you in the same situation, and you can somehow or other, how to say, pacify yourself.
Console each other.
Console each other. But I am alone to feel that. And nobody is there for me to speak with. I can't explain this to anyone. The only person of Raj that are with me are my brother Balaram. I can't tell him that. I mean, there was Madhu Mangal with him. Madhu Mangal is a Priyanama Saka, so maybe he could share a little bit with Madhu Mangal, but I never heard about this. Or you see Madhu Mangal in Lalita Madhava doesn't seem to play so much this role of consoling Krishna. But we don't know. Maybe it's mentioned somewhere. But still, Krishna said that, so it must be true. He felt very alone. So Krishna is in Dwarka, very sad. And he is arriving here, the gopis are arriving and they see each other. And they become happy, but they don't become happy actually. They become more sad. Because they see the sadness of the other. So that makes them more sad. And then they see that despite of their meeting again, they can't remove this sadness. Because they can't really meet neither. And so actually they meet, but they can't meet. So there is this very ambiguous situation in Kurukshetra, which is Sambhoga and Vipraramba simultaneously. Very intense. So Krishna told them, your affection, that love that you're carrying in your heart, that's your very great fortune. Very few persons are fortunate like this. That's the subject of Chaitanya Charitamrita, and that special love that you have for me. You obtain me by that love, actually. I'm yours. And Prabhupada said, you have obtained my favor, but it's written, Matsneho. Dishteyad astind Matsneho, that by the affection you have for me, Bhavatinam mat apanaha. You have obtained me. Prabhupada's right, obtain my favor, but his favor means his love, means himself. They have captured Krishna with the rope of love in their heart. So he says, you have obtained me. That's Krishna's heart now, becoming approached by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. That's the very beginning of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Kaviraj Goswami is an expert in the revealing Krishna's heart. He did such a wonderful masterpiece in this Chaitanya Charitamrita. And that's why Prabhupada stopped translating Bhagavatam. At some point Prabhupada understood somehow or other that he would probably not be able to make Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita because his body was becoming weaker and weaker. So Prabhupada considered, okay, I have to make a choice. And then he decided to pause the Bhagavatam at the sacrifice, at the risk of maybe not being able to finish it. But he considered at that time, it's more important that I give Chaitanya Charitamrita because that's Gaurvani Pracharini. That's his main mission. And if he would have given only the Bhagavatam, his mission was not complete. So Prabhupada said, okay, let me give the Bhagavatam, and then I'll come back to Srimad Bhagavatam. Still he couldn't finish. So he sacrificed the Bhagavatam for the Chaitanya Charitamrita because that's his mission. And then Krishna says, you know, my mother, sometimes she binds me. She thinks I'm a son, she wants to protect me. I like that. My friend, they climb on my shoulder with pure sakya, pure friendship. They think we are equal. And I like this also. And if my beloved, they reproaches me in a sulky mood, mana. Mana means contradictory love. It's not really, they're not upset, but their love take that mood of contrariness, that it will express itself like if they don't love him anymore. This is called reversed love, reversed feelings. But they still love him. They love him even more. But then love takes that form. And Krishna said, when they become like this, that steals my mind from the reverent hymns of the Vedas. Prabhupada said this is exchanging transcendental love of the highest purity. We have to understand the purity of this love. Mm-hmm. Prabhupada explained that behind, the reverential love, following the scriptures, which is called Vaidhi Bhakti, there is the existence of spontaneous devotion. And Prabhupada said, a devotee who is actually free from all designation due to complete attachment in love for the Supreme exhibits spontaneous love for Godhead, which is called Rag Anuga, which is always superior to the devotion of regulative principles. The informal language used between lover and beloved is indicative of pure affection, no more formity. Only love is there. When love becomes real, you don't need any formity, because the other person understands that is love. So you can't make any mistake anymore. It's just pure love. When the devotees, they worship their beloved Lord as the most venerable object, then spontaneous loving sentiments are observed to be lacking. A neophyte devotee who follows the Vedic instruction that regulate those who lack pure love of Godhead may superficially seem more exalted than a devotee in spontaneous love of Godhead. But in fact, such spontaneous pure love is far, far superior to regulated devotional service. Prabhupada explained that Vaidhi Bhakti, this Vedic instruction of the Shastra telling us we have to do this and this and this, it exists for those who lack pure love for Krishna. So the most important is to develop that pure love. Such pure love of Godhead is always glorious in all respects, more so than reverential devotional service rendered by less affectionate devotees. And then Krishna says, Eshuddha Bhaktalanya Karimo Avatar Karibo Vivida Vida Adbhuta Vihar. I will take all these special devotees of Vraj with me, and I'll descend and sport in various wonderful ways, which means manifest my pastimes, which are even unknown to in Vaikuntha. And I shall broadcast such pastimes by which even I am amazed. That's amazing. Say lila karibo yate mora chamatkar. These pastimes amaze Krishna himself. So Krishna loses himself in these pastimes. Ami ha najani taha najani gopigan. Neither the gopi nor I shall understand what is going on, shall notice this, Prabhupada say. For our mind will always be entranced by one another's beauty and qualities. So they don't know, and I don't know. Nobody knows anything more. They don't know who I am. I don't know who I am either. They don't know who they are. I don't know who they are. So Krishna is, how to say, he is bewildered, amazed, chamatkar.
Astonished.
He's astonished by, that's what Krishna likes. Krishna likes to become astonished. Krishna likes to become confused and surpassed. Krishna likes to become, defeated by love. That's his greatest happiness. Krishna wants to be defeated by love. So that's what we have to try to understand. This is the mission of Mahaprabhu. The beginning now, we're approaching this. The beginning of his mission is to manifest. I mean, that's only Krishna's mission is to, I will say that in another way. The essence of Krishna's pastime is to manifest situation in which he becomes completely controlled by love. Krishna always wants to arrange this. Then he likes it. How do we say? What is the last verse of the Tulasi Arati Kirtan? It's always tricky when we start to pick up one without saying the other before. Enividena daro sakir anugata koro. Se adi koro diye koro ninja dasi. Dina Krishna dasi koi eya enamorado. Shirada Govinda preme.
Sada Yena Basi.
Tada Jena Basi. May I become a resident of this pastime of pure love of Radha and Krishna. So Krishna, he wants also to be a Basi. He wants to reside. Our translation normally is, let me swim in that ocean of Radha and Krishna's love. That's what Krishna likes, when he becomes drawn in the ocean of love of his devotees. So Krishna wants to manifest this. He wants to manifest pastimes that will fascinate himself. Prabhupada writes in the purport, therefore Lord Shri Krishna presents his most confidential pastimes as he enjoys them in his transcendental realm, Rajalila. Such pastimes are so attractive that they attract even the Lord, and thus he relishes them in the form of Lord Chaitanya. Krishna likes to be overwhelmed. Once when he was in Dwaraka, Krishna saw his reflection in a pillar and he stopped that, how we say, that blocked him in his tracks.
Stopped him in his tracks.
That stopped him in his tracks. Krishna couldn't move anymore. And he just became motionless in front of that shiny pillar, because he was seeing the reflection of his face inside, and he saw it. Raghunath Das Goswami writes this beautiful verse. Krishna thought, what is this form? I've never seen such a form. Nobody told me that such a form is existing. Krishna is captivated by his own beauty. That's Krishna. Mugdata. He doesn't know even who he is. I often say that Krishna, he's Krishna. How we say this? Without even willing to be Krishna. It's not his fault. He's Krishna. He doesn't make anything to be Krishna. He's not faulty of being Krishna. It's stronger than him to fascinate everyone. It's not that he's trying to fascinate everyone. He fascinates everyone. He can't not fascinate everyone. That's his nature, because his beauty is unlimited. So anybody that comes in contact with Krishna will become completely flooded by prema. That's not his fault. That's who he is, Like someone who is... We have many things like this in our life which are inherent to our material condition, and we can't go without them. And we are victimized by these things, because most of the time these are some faults in us. Sometimes some people are very beautiful also, and that shape their destiny. If a girl or a man takes birth and become very beautiful from the beginning of his life, and become then very beautiful when he reaches teenagehood. Independently of himself, he will be having a special destiny, because all other people, they will be attracted by such person. So nowadays they become movie stars. You can see it's not their fault. They took birth, they were so beautiful that naturally they go to a casting or something like that. People selected them. That's a karma. They did pious activities. Still, that's not really beautiful. That's considered ugly compared to what are even the denizens of heaven, who are themselves considered ugly compared to the queens of Vaikuntha, who are themselves considered, we cannot say ugly, but very insignificant compared to the gopis of Vraj. So the beauty of Radha and Krishna and Vraj is beyond all understanding. That's the goal of our life, to experience such beauty. We are made for that. But with that external beauty of Krishna's body and transcendental realm and associate, because they are all as beautiful as Krishna. I think Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explained this. They are all as beautiful as Krishna. It's not that Lalita and Vishaka, they are less beautiful than Krishna, because even Krishna is fascinated by their beauty. So they are as beautiful as Krishna. Subal is as beautiful as Krishna. So one who would meet Subal would be experiencing the same thing that seeing Krishna face to face. The proof of this is that when Gopkumar attained Vaikuntha, he saw the doorkeeper of the palace of Lord Narayan. When he saw the doorkeeper, he thought this was the Supreme Lord. And he went toward them and he said, "Oh, my Lord." And they said, No, we're just his servant. But because they were as beautiful as him, he thought that was God, So they are all as beautiful as him. Mother Yashoda, she is as beautiful as Krishna. As beautiful. Must be. Krishna deserves the right to have the most beautiful people around him. That's how it is. But the beauty of Krishna and his associate resides actually mainly inside their heart. And that's because they have this special love in their heart, that they are that beautiful. And it's not possible to become that beautiful without developing that same love. But if someone is able to develop that same love, that person will also attain that same beauty. Because when we when we awaken that same pure love in our heart, then we attain a transcendental form to be serving among them. That's the opportunity that Prabhupada came to give us, that Mahaprabhu came to give us, to be able to attain the same love that Krishna is carrying in his heart. Can we think that this is possible? We can't think, but we should think that this is possible. Otherwise, that means we don't believe in what Prabhupada gave us. Sometimes we don't believe enough in what Prabhupada gave us. We should believe. Because that's a natural tendency of Krishna. He likes to share his heart. He likes to reveal his heart. And he needs actually more and more people who can understand his heart. Because his heart is becoming more and more fascinating every day. So he needs always new souls that can be able to share the way of that love, prema. It's not so easy to live in such a level of prema. Prema is not an easy life. It's very intense life. It doesn't mean that it's not nice. It's the most beautiful life that exists. But it's not easy in the sense of you just do nothing and enjoy. Sometimes devotees, they think spiritual world will be enjoying, with Krishna and his pastime. But they have to remember that a very important part of that enjoyment is sharing Krishna's sadness. And that's even the most important part of that enjoyment. Because when you share Krishna's sadness, then you can also share his happiness. It doesn't work in the other way. You cannot only share Krishna's happiness without sharing his sadness. If you want one, you need to have the other also. So our approach, our feeling, how Mahaprabhu made the thing for us is that first we share Krishna's sadness, then we be also able to share Krishna's happiness. We have to open our heart to Krishna's sadness. Then we become if someone does this, that person becomes automatically spontaneous. This is spontaneous devotion. Someone accepts, okay, I want to understand Krishna's heart and I want to share his sadness. I want his sadness to become also my sadness. And I want to take upon me his sadness, or at least some part of it. Like, when we see someone suffering in this world, sometimes we feel, I would like to take that suffering on me and let him be pacified. So we have to, if we develop that feeling with Krishna, when we see Krishna going through such pastimes, because the pastimes that Krishna manifested, they are heartbreaking, Krishna stayed 10 years in Vraj, then 110 years out of Vraj, something like that, at least 100 years. Even though he came back from time to time, but he came back for a short period, then left again. So most of Krishna Lila is quite painful. But that's the most beautiful level of love also. And then when you experience this, then you access to what is really Krishna's heart. And then also gradually we'll come to the point Radha and his heart. That's the beauty of Chaitanya Charitamrita, introducing us to Krishna's heart. And we have two choices. Either we read it like a book and we think, okay, interesting, that's it, what am I going to do now? I have to do something, I'm in this world. I can't just cry by reading Chaitanya Charitamrita. Or, that's not what we should do, but that's unfortunately what this material world will influence us to do. Or we decide, wow, but how can I live now by knowing all this? How can I bear that in my heart? I'm often thinking that how can you be an happy billionaire knowing that there are so many people so poor in this world who don't have proper food to eat, who are suffering out of diseases? How can you happy billionaire? That means in order to try to be happy, because it's not possible, they can't. Because they know this, and you can't be happy if you don't share. You can't be happy if you don't give yourself for the happiness of others. If you don't sacrifice. Happiness comes by sacrificing our happiness. It's very interesting. Prahlad Maharaj makes the point in Srimad Bhagavatam. He says, as soon as the people try to become happy, then they become unhappy. That means as soon as we search our happiness, we become unhappy, inevitably. Happiness comes by sacrificing your happiness. Very interesting formula. When you sacrifice your happiness for the sake of proper happiness, of Krishna's love, then you will become happy. So, billionaire cannot be happy, knowing he has enough money to help all these people. We speak on a material level. He has enough money to help materially these people, but he's choosing not to do it. In the same way, when we know all these beautiful things, when we understand such sadness is there in Krishna's heart, if we don't take this into our heart, we won't be able to be really happy. But if we accept that sadness of Krishna's heart as our own sadness, and we understand that, okay, now knowing this, and if we understand that this is real, this is not a religion, some beautiful philosophical conception, or something which is too elevated for us, only for pure devotees, and this is a misunderstanding. This is our natural identity to be part of Krishna's eternal reality.
Our inheritance.
We are heir of Krishna's love. We are heir of Krishna's sadness too. When the father dies, you got both. Whatever money he has, and you get also whatever debt he has. And you have to pay the debts with the money. So we are heir of Krishna's love, and we are heir of Krishna, which is composed in a big part of his sadness. So we have to accept that. But when we do this, when we say, okay, now I have heard all this, and I accept this sadness as mine, like Uddhava did when he was on this terrace in the moonlight. He felt, okay, I am taking that. I understand what you feel, Krishna, at least some drop of it. And this drop is making me understand that whatever I have, I give everything for your sake. Like Bhaktivedanta Thakur make these beautiful prayers. He said, "May I die with all the offenses of the holy name, so that everybody can chant purely."
Wow.
This is kamikaze.
Mm.
Kamikaze wants to
Yeah.
sacrifice himself for the life of other in order to save something, for the sake of winning the war of the battle. That's craziness, because they're sacrificing themselves for a material cause. But spiritual kamikaze is good.
Mm.
And so that means we should be ready to sacrifice ourselves by accepting Krishna's sadness as our sadness, Krishna's heart. Then we become, this is called Tad Ekatma. Krishna's heart will start to be reflected in our heart also. That's how we become pure devotees. And our heart is transformed, because now Krishna's heart becomes reflected. So all this beautiful subject is coming in Chaitanya Charitamrita, and Prabhupada came to give us this matchless gift. We're very grateful to Srila Prabhupada, who actually came to place Krishna's love in our heart, to give us access to Krishna's heart, because he has full access to Krishna's heart, and he wants to share with us this access. Jao tumi lagi, for us to take it. Please accept it. Krishna is giving this access through the holy name. Yeah. Say Nama Mahamantra Jao tumi lagi. I'm giving you this name. Please take it. Inside this name is all this. I'm sharing my heart with you. If somebody understands what is the holy name, that means by chanting the names of Radha and Krishna, you get access to the heart of Radhani and to the heart of Krishna. It's not a simple formula. It's the highest magic formula that can open not sesame but the heart, the door of Radha and Krishna's heart. It's there. I do believe, and I'm sure that this power is there in the chanting of their name. Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Ramtaraj, Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai, Jai Gaura Premanande.
May I ask you a question?
Yes.
You're mentioning in the verse, it says, Aishwarya Sthiti Preme, that Krishna says, I'm not conquered by reverential love. And so I was thinking...
He appreciates, but not conquered.
But so I was thinking, and we were speaking about how this is our focus, right? We should try to understand Krishna's heart. So my question is that what is our relationship with most of the Bhagavatam? Because you can see many places in Bhagavatam, there's very kind of, prayers of the demigods or very reverential passages, and even after Braj, even in the 10th canto, it's a different type of mood.
So what is our relationship with this?
Yes,
it's very good relationship, because all this is leading us to that. It's like a funnel, so we take it, because the intent of the Bhagavatam is to lead us to this. So all these things, even they seem different, they are not here to attract us somewhere else, but they are here to direct us toward this. But we have to understand the whole spectrum in order to understand Raja Prem. It's important. It's important that we go through. We don't need to then dwell on this subject for eternity, but we have to go through and to feel them, to understand them. and that will, like, how we say, you know, when you have some sand and you use this sift
Yeah.
in order to refine the sand.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to go through all this Bhagavatam in order to be refined, and then we can understand this Raja Prem. Without, because we have read the Bhagavatam, then we can understand it. If we would have been presented directly Raj without all this,
Without the context.
yeah, we would not have understood it in the same way. All this Bhagavatam is here to catch our entire heart gradually and to bring it through that, because that's the Bhagavatam.
So we have to keep the Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan as a center,
as the core.
Just like I've heard before that, like it's like there's a ring and it has like a sapphire gem, and the rest of the ring is gold. So the gem is like the 10th canto. But if the gem is not in, if you have a ring and the gem has fallen out, it's not something that you would be very much interested in wearing.
They go together. They go together, and also after you understand that actually all these other pastimes of Krishna, it's also Krishna doing all this for us to understand. And also because there are many jivas who also have some other relationship with Krishna. Krishna is doing all this. But the Bhagavatam is aiming at this moment where Krishna says to the Gopina Parahiham Niravadya Samjuta, I cannot repay you. Let your own glory be, let your own good qualities be your own glory. I can't. I'm defeated. That's the defeat. Bhagavatam is the defeat of Krishna. And Chaitanya Charitamrita is the further defeat of Krishna, or the complete knockout of Krishna. At the end of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna is lying on the ground, defeated. That's his victory. Defeated by Prem. That's Krishna's pastime. He wants it like this. And he's giving us that opportunity to join. Krishna is really sharing his heart with us like no one does this. You will never find anyone in this world who will share his heart with you like Krishna. You know, people, they fall in love with each other because they need this need of sharing your heart with someone is there in the soul. And we want someone else to share his or her heart with us completely. That's called material love. When you're in love with someone in this world, you share your heart with that person shares your heart with you. That's what makes the love, not the lust. The lust is something else. But still, you will not find someone that will share his heart with you like Krishna. Krishna is sharing something which is unlimitedly more beautiful and which is given more easily. Nobody reveals his heart like Krishna is doing. At the same time, it's secret, because not everybody will have access to this Chaitanya Charitamrita. Even in our movement, who read Chaitanya Charitamrita? I think I heard that Vaisheshika Prabhu made some statistics, asking all devotees. These were made among the leaders, who read Chaitanya Charitamrita, and these were only very few. What to speak about ordinary devotees. So it's there, Prabhupada gave us, but not everybody will take. And then there are also devotees who will read Chaitanya Charitamrita but will not grasp it. And then there are those who will read and grasp something but not take Krishna's sadness as their own sadness. It requires a very special disposition in order to be able to connect with that gift of Krishna, but it is there. So by the mercy of the Vaishnavas, they're showing us. Still we have to take it. Jo tumi lagi. Mahaprabhu is saying, I'm giving it to you, that Mahamantra, still you have to take it. So we could say, everybody is taking the Mahamantra, so many people are chanting the holy name. But Bhaktivedanta Thakur say that he takes this Mahamantra and falls at the feet of Gaura. Bhaktivedanta Thakur took it. But did we take it? Or did we just steal the wrapping of the gift? And not the inside of the gift. So we took the alphabet, Hare Krishna, we took it and then we recite it. But we didn't take the full gift. Sometimes I've seen babies, you offer them some gift with a beautiful wrapping, and they become more interested in the paper, than in the actual gift. Have you seen that?
Yes.
That's right. They play, your little baby, they don't know what is what. I think, well, this paper is amazing. They take the paper and they don't notice that was not the gift, So we may be careful, and we have to try to understand what is the essence. Mahaprabhu is giving us that treasure. We should take it, the full treasure. Jo tumi lagi. So that's why we have to hear about Krishna and to cultivate this. We have to try. I want to take this treasure, Krishna. I don't want anything else. I want to connect with your heart. I want to understand your heart. I want to accept your sadness as my own sadness. This is a real friend. That person is taking the gift of Mahaprabhu. It's there. You cannot take only one part and not the other. It goes together. It's a full gift. If you take the full gift, then your life will be sublime. Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Thank you very much for allowing us to speak nicely about Krishna.
Ada